Hey guys, it's John here. We are going to do another garden tour. Everything looks so good and things have been blooming so fast. So we want to show you guys all the flowers that are in our garden right now. We're on the side of our house. This is the east side of our house where we keep a lot of potted plants that will be blooming in the container garden just until they get established. We also have our crate garden back here. Look how beautiful this looks right now. We don't have our cut flower garden this year, so we decided to grow a lot of really pretty cut flowers in crates this year. These are just bulb crates that we got from our tulip shipments, and we just lined them with some landscape fabric here, as you can see. Literally the cheapest landscape fabric that we got from the big box store. I've also seen people use like newspaper and just like cloths to kind of hold in the dirt, but that's all we did here and filled it about, gosh, I want to say like 6 inches of soil. It's like about 6 inches. And we planted tons, tons of ranunculus and anemones in all of these crates. We'll kind of go over all the flowers that we put in here. These are down here ranunculus. These are a amandine salmon color. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? And then in the back here we have just a butterfly mix. We have the yellow helios. Isn't that pretty? We're like a buttery cream color. The Ariande with the blush pink color. Isn't that beautiful? The purple one is the Thiva, kind of like a mauvey purple. That one's really pretty. And then the back we have one that's called Musa, more like a rusty red color. Really, really pretty. The anemones have been blooming for quite some time, and some of them actually have some thrip damage on here, as you can see. We've had some bug damage, but that's okay. We have some really pretty ones. This pink one, there's really not a lot we do about thrips. They really only affect the older plants, but we love this hot pink color. We always grow this one every single year. In front of it, we have the Bordeaux. Look how pretty. It's more like a wine color. I'll show you guys this one. Like a purpley red. Isn't that gorgeous? Super pretty. This is a great stage to harvest your anemones too when they're at this point, because the stem in between the collar and the flower is about 1/4 of an inch. That's the best time to harvest them to get the longest vase life out of your flowers. So we have the Bordeaux. We have back here, we have the Milky, Rainbow Milky. Look at that. It's the white with that green center. This one's a double. I don't know why they form double buds in the center quite often, but they're really pretty. And then over here we have the black one, the Panda, the white with the black center. That one's really pretty. And then in the front here we have more of the butterflies, the Thiva and the Musa. Super cute. Ranunculus. This is porcelain. Look how beautiful that is. Kind of reminds me of like a Barbie pink color. Look at that. This one's probably one of my favorites. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Just that gorgeous, gorgeous color. And then next to her we have, this is Purple Jean. More of that mauvey color, kind of the same tone as the Thiva. Just that really pretty mauvey purple tone to her. In the back we have cream. This is Amandine Cream, kind of like a white yellow. Perfect for spring. We love that. More of the porcelain back here. This one's kind of like a darker one. She's really pretty. And then in the front here we have Tango, which is a new one we're growing this year. This one's more of like a pinkier salmon color, and I'm absolutely obsessed. She's beautiful. Super pretty. And then over here we have some anemones that we kind of just started soaking like really late. Like we started soaking these in like January, and they are just now starting to bloom. So yeah, they look pretty good. We just threw the corms in there and they've done pretty well. So over here we have some really pretty Lysianthus that will be blooming. These will all go on the stair step bench. Probably in June. We have some Calibrachoa that we put on the stair step bench recently, so these will probably take their place in June. We're always succession planting flowers for the stair step bench, and I love Lysianthus, and having these dwarf ones in the pots is actually really nice so that you can just sneak them in there. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. These are like the double varieties. It's called Juliet Blue. We're also growing a really pretty Florida Blue, like a single petal one as well. These were the Serenia flowers. I think that's how you say it. This was the first year we grew these, and they have done so well. They're kind of towards the end of their life span. They're kind of turning a little brown and sad, but these were the most magical, beautiful, like pastel tone flowers the past month, and the bees have been absolutely loving them. We're definitely going to grow them again next year, but this one was a dwarf variety, like I mentioned, Look how short this is. It only got like 3, 4 inches tall, which is great for the small pots that go on our stair step bench. There's also taller varieties that I may try out. They just don't like a lot of sun. They prefer morning shade, with really only like 3 or 4 hours of direct sunlight. So they've been loving their life on the east side of our house. But this one's called Planet Mix, kind of a mix of like the purple, blushes, and magenta. Okay, so I'll show you guys the shade plants over here. We like to plant a lot of shade plants this time of year because they're just really pretty. We have a lot of cyclamen that are blooming right now, but we like to get hi Renly. We like to plant a lot of things like begonias. These are a dragon wing begonia. This is a rose color. I always love begonias, especially dragon wing. They have a really pretty like petal shape to them. So we have a lot of those over there. We still have cyclamen that look really good. They'll kind of fizzle out once it gets a little bit warmer out. But over here, we have lots of impatiens. We have a salmon and a fuchsia color impatient, as well as begonias. This is a bada bing mix. We just picked these up at the local nursery, but these are great just for shade for the spring months. They will do well in the summer. You just want to make sure you give them full shade, no sun. They do not like any sun in the summertime. And then behind them, we have some coleus. I thought these colors would do really good for spring, this like white and green mix. We usually do like a darker tone in the fall, but I think these look absolutely lovely for the spring. We have more begonias behind here, the dragon wings. Sometimes we like to tuck in the fire line in our shade plants to give it like a little extra texture. So I'll show you guys some plants in the back, and then I'll show you guys the container garden. These are all the ranunculus that we have in our grow bags. They look so good right now. This was kind of a mix that we put in here. Lots of white. This is an amadine white. Look how beautiful these are. Oh my gosh, you guys. They are stunning. Always a good idea to plant beautiful white ranunculus. I love this mix right here. Just a pink pastel mix. This is chamello, this pink color. Look how gorgeous it is. Chamello is kind of like a shade of pink, so it has this like darker shade, but a lot of them are very light, as you can see over here. Just like a baby Barbie pink. Absolutely gorgeous. And this was a mix. We do have one wedding pastel back here that's kind of like a very light pink, like a blush, almost like a light beigey pink. It's really pretty. So they did really well. We planted them pretty close together, about 3 or 4 inches, not 3 or 4 inches, probably 4 inches apart, and stuffed them in here, and they've done really well. So we were really happy with these. We'll do them again next year. We have another one over here. I'll show you guys. It's kind of hiding behind the stair step stuff, but this is an amadine salmon. Look how beautiful that is, that real pinky color. Isn't that gorgeous? Ugh, I'm obsessed. So pretty. And then we have more chamellos down here that are doing so well. We don't have our cut flower field, like I mentioned, so we loved growing these in grow bags back here just to have some nice cut flowers to cut from. And then these will all go on the stair step bench, all of these pots. We have a lot of like primroses out there, but once it heats up, like next week, it's supposed to be in the 90s, we'll probably be replacing a lot of them with these pretty plants over here. So we have these dwarf celotias. This is a kimono gold celotia. Really pretty, heat tolerant flower that we love growing. It only gets about 6 inches tall, so that's a great flower for the stair step bench. And of course, calibrachoa. Those are always great options. They don't get too tall and they bloom really well. These are going to do really well for us in like now through probably early June until it gets to be like triple digits. I mean, they can handle triple digits, but they don't like the like 105, 110 degree weather. And at that point, we'll switch them out for the Lysianthus. Oh, and of course the marigolds. This is a Bonanza marigold. Just a really pretty yellow. I love planting yellow for spring. It's just really bright and cheerful. So we have these. We do have some rudbeckias back here. We'll plant these in the stair step bench a little bit later on. We had some bird damage. Do you guys see this right here? We get some damage from the birds. I don't know how or why they've been pecking at only this plant. They've been loving these rudbeckias. This is the golden sun, the Irish eyes, but these do really well for us too. In the summer months, they love the heat and typically bloom in like June. But what is Rose doing? What are you doing, Rose? She's just eating grass. We love that. And we have tons of petunias. These are all the super petunias we have down here. the Bordeaux. We have the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry over here. And they've done pretty well. We'll slip these into the container garden. Rennie will slip them into the container garden in just a little bit. But we're waiting for a little bit more room. Our garden right now is filled with tulips and a few other things. So once room opens up, we'll slip in these petunias. Rose is in her corner just eating away at sticks that she finds in the yard. You like that, Rose? You like that? Yeah, yummy? Yeah, she's living her best life. Okay, so we are in the main container display in our backyard. Everything looks so good right now, you guys. I am so happy with how it turned out. Over here on our first stair step bench, we have 4 stair step benches in this garden. More of the scenario, however you say it. Again, it is kind of on its last leg, but that's okay. They still are so pretty, giving all of those pastel vibes. We have a pot over here of that butterfly, the Musa butterfly. This is one plant for you. I usually plant 3 of the same thing in one pot, but I don't know what happened. We have a different ranunculus down here, but they are so pretty. So pretty with that rusty vibe. We have the champagne primroses over here down on the bench. Look how beautiful these are. Kind of a really pretty mix of like lavender and rusty tones. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the double ones. Like this is probably my favorite one. Isn't that pretty? And then of course behind it we have some really pretty tulips. This one's a Daytona tulip, double fringe, white tulip. Look how pretty that is. Love her. And we still have a kale. We still have a really pretty kale. A lot of them started to flower, but this one has not flowered yet. So we love that. Over here we have a pot full of Pink Panther foxgloves. I'll show you guys kind of what they look like. We have one blooming behind it back here. It's just a really nice compact foxglove. So it's more on the shorter side. It's not too big. They're a heavy branching variety. That's why I love them. So like I said, they're a little bit shorter than a traditional foxglove. So if you want to stagger the blooms a little bit lower, I think this is a great variety for like a middle height in your container garden. In the back here, look at these delphiniums. This one's a Guardian Dark Blue. Look how lovely this is. We've been growing a lot of the lavender ones, so like lighter blue ones, but I am obsessed with this darker one. I think it's so magical, and that dark purple like plum color I think is really stunning. So this is the Guardian. We do have the peony cages around all of our delphiniums. This just helps keep them nice and upright from flopping over, especially in like a rainstorm. We've had so much rain recently, and this has helped keep them upright and straight and not flopping over. We don't want broken delphinium stems. So over here we have the Guardian. They're the same series, but this is the lavender color. Do you guys see that light lavender wash to them, to the petals? Look how stunning that is. So pretty. I feel like all of our delphiniums are a little bit late this year, which is totally fine. They've been blooming absolutely beautifully. So we usually tuck them in pretty close, as you can see here. We have them about, I'd say like 6 inches apart. We treat them as annuals here. They will not survive the summers here. So we plant them every single year. We start our seeds in late summer and transplant them outside in the fall, and they seem to do pretty well. So in front of us, we have some really pretty dianthus. This is Amazon purple, neon purple. And I used to grow this as a cut flower when I grew in the flower field, and I absolutely love it. It just gives a nice bright color back here. And we have some kale tucked in here, just some red boar kale. This gave us some really nice winter interest. This lavender, of course, this is a fernleaf lavender or Egyptian lavender. We have, let's go to the ranunculus. We have some really pretty wedding pastel ranunculus. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that pretty? Just a gorgeous blush tone to her. Really, I need to put her in front of the butterfly. This one's that Thiva butterfly. Look how pretty that is. 3 plants in every pot here. So this is 3 plants right here. But they just spray out so beautifully, and I'm obsessed with it. Each branch keeps making more and more petals, or flowers, if you will. And it's just a great garden flower to have in the containers. So in front of her, we have tulips. This one's called Crunchy Cummins. Just a really gorgeous, more of a fringe variety. Look how pretty that is. And then we have some pastel poppies. It's kind of a mix, a peach mix of some really gorgeous poppies. Super pretty. I love how they come up here too. They're just so pretty. The blooms, the buds, they're just gorgeous. They're gorgeous. So we have more tulips down here. These are the Daytonas that we showed you guys, the double fringe ones. Super pretty, super pretty. And then we have some snapdragons that are just about to bloom. These are a dwarf one called Tweeny Peach. It's more of like a double, like champagne color. That one's going to be stunning. We have lots of petunias. This one's the Bermuda. Super Tuna Bermuda Beach. Just a really pretty, like pinky color. Gorgeous. This one's the viola called Bunny Ear. Absolutely stunning. They just have the cutest little ears, you guys. Look at that. Just perfect for spring and Easter. I just love them. I'm obsessed. And then we have the petunia. This is Tiara Pink Petunia. It's a new one from Proven Winners. It's really sprawling, as you can see if you back out. It's really taking up a lot of space. But this one's the Tiara Pink. It's really, really pretty. We love that. And of course, the carnation. I don't know what variety that is. Sorry, Dianthus. It's in the carnation family. But we've absolutely loved having this. This was a save from the Lowe's clearance rack. And then down here, we have some really pretty alyssum. As you can see, if you span, we have it wrapped around the entire garden here. It is a pollinator magnet. The bees, butterflies, everything loves this alyssum. And it really adds so much dimension. I love having a nice white border here and then putting all the color behind it. It just makes it really nice and tidy and beautiful. But these are all the same pots that go on the stair step bench. They're just the six-inch pots, like 6.5 inches. And we usually put just 3 plants in each one, and they seem to do really well. So we have a lot of the same flowers over here. More of the Theva, the butterfly ranunculus. We have 3 pots of the Theva. And then one of the Helios. This one's that buttercream color. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the Helios. Always a classic. And then in front of that, we have the pink Chamello ranunculus. Really pretty. Just soft pink. And then this is the wedding pastel next to her. Absolutely stunning. I love the gradient from the buttercream to the wedding pastel to the Chamello. It's really pretty. Down here we have the tulips. That one's Pink Star. Isn't that pretty? And then down below we have some really pretty stock. This one's a dwarf one called Baby Rainbow. It's just really cute. She's done really well for us. And then that one's a purple one. I don't know the name of it. It's done really well too. And then in the back, we have more of the delphiniums, more of the Guardian Lavender delphiniums. And again, we use the peony cages to help stake all of our delphiniums. The trick is you want to put them on before they start sending out their bloom spikes. So we put them on about a month ago, and that seemed to really do the trick here. In the back of the garden, we have all of these foxgloves, which is totally fine. We planted them kind of late too, so that would make sense. But these are the lavender foxgloves, the Camelot lavender. And just envision some beautiful foxgloves back here, towering. Doesn't that sound beautiful? They're gonna go so well with all of these other flowers, and I'm so excited to have these. They're always one of my favorites. And then over here we have more foxgloves. This one's a apricot one. I think it's called Dalmatian Peach, I believe is the name. But it's another great variety that we grow every year. Lavender ones behind here. We have the dark blue delphinium down here. We have all of these primroses. Look at this one, mix of champagne. Just again, a gorgeous mix of rusty champagne tones with like kind of a lavender vibe to it. Absolutely stunning. We do need to deadhead them. Oh, look at this. Look at this ladybug. Find a ladybug out here. Isn't that cute? Maybe it's eating some aphids. Let's hope so. Putting it to work. So those are super pretty. We have some tulips in front of her. This one's a Foxy Foxtrot. They opened up yellow and then they turned this like really pretty ombre color. I was obsessed. They don't have too much life left, but they're so pretty, especially with these primroses. And then on this last bench, we had a lot of spent primroses on here, like the apricot ones that we had. Some really calibracoa. We did a mix of this like lavender, like a splashy lavender color, with these pinkier ones with the yellow throat. I don't know exactly what the name of these are, but I'll find them. And the yellow, I think these are all going to go really well together, especially for spring. I usually go for like more colors. Um, so yeah, that's basically it. I'll show you the Lisianthus over here. These are all of our Lisianthus that we've had over the years. They don't really look like too much right now, but they will be blooming probably in June some point. Second year Lisianthus usually bloom before first year planted Lisianthus. And some of these pots we've had in here for like 3 or 4 years. So they'll last quite a few years if you take care of them. And I did not label a single one of them. So we're going to be in for a surprise when all of these start to bloom. So we love that. And yeah, I'll fertilize these and they'll start really pumping out some nice growth when it starts warming up. So thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.